Ever had to wake up at 3 a.m. just to join a client call, or constantly answer the question, what time is it for you again? Maybe you've even been rejected from a job just because you have wrong time. Time zone differences can mess with your routine, sleep, and even career, but it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'll share 7 practical tips to master remote work across time zones.
Hey, it's a quick change of setup and a test for my new videos and my first video on YouTube. My name is Katerina. I'm a creative project manager and I'm full-time traveler. So probably you can call me... Okay, it's my first blooper. So probably you can call me Digital Nomad. If you don't mind, I will open back my laptop so I can check some of my notes regarding this video, which will be about time zones. I would call it like dancing with time zones. So yeah, this video will be about how creative people, or who mostly work on remote jobs, or just people working remotely, can manage difficulties with working in different time zones with their teams or with their clients. And here are my 7 hacks, how I do that, and some ideas which helped me to manage my work more efficiently. I need to learn how to talk on camera. I'll probably re-record this once again. Okay, so I decided not to re-record this. That part will stay as it is. I'll probably remove this. I already had the call, so I just can't hear myself properly. I will start why I decided to call this dancing with time zones. For the people who knows me, I really like dancing, like from dance hall battles till reggaeton, or like 10 years of folk dance, or even like just dancing in the shower or in the kitchen. The analogy I created for myself regarding managing different time zones, especially across international teams, because sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, sometimes you set up some boundaries and like your schedule, but sometimes you also need to hop on a call with the client at 3 a.m., right? Because like you just don't have another option and you need to make something quickly, right? Regarding my personal story, why I can even share something like that, I work with different time management techniques over 13 years already. And for the past 3 years, I've been a creative manager in design agency, and I was managing remote international team across different time zones. And I had like clients in different time zones all over the world. For the past half a year, I've been in Southeast Asia and traveling around different countries here, while my 9 to 5 work was in European time zone. So I had to start working in the second half of the day and finish like 11 or even midnight. And at first I thought it will be like really difficult, but in reality it works out for me. But actually I made it work out for me. Let me share with you 7 tips how I did that. First tip is time blocking across different time zones. Probably the most popular question: what time is it for you? And for that you can just use different time converters. For example, my favorite ones I will share here and put into the bio. It's TimeBee and World Time Buddy, the ones I used more often. Using these converters, you can find the overlapping hours between your team and your clients, and I would suggest to talk to the person in the time zone which they have. In this case, you will avoid different conflicts, and of course, it's better to highlight which time zone you are using, like in your sentences. In general, in my calendar, I use 3 different time zones, and I also have this widget on my phone and on my laptop, so I always can see the time zone which I need in addition to what I have. Bonus tip for this part is to use different color codes for different time zones in your calendar. Here is an example how it can look like. Second tip is to set core golden hours, like just agree with your team or agree with your client whenever you are like most productive or whenever you can have calls. For example, when I need to work from 9 to 5 in European time zone while I'm in Asia, I prefer having calls from 13 till 16 in European time zone, because earlier it can be too early for people in US and later it will be too late for me, and this part will be like the golden part to work with my team. At the same time, I can have like different hours for my American clients or like different hours for Asian clients or team members. Number 3, and I would say it is the core one actually, it is async communication. I think it is very important because it will help to avoid meetings burnout. You probably saw millions of videos on TikTok or Instagram where people actually complain about amount of unnecessary meetings where you could fix some issue without meeting in Zoom or Google Meets. Actually, a lot of things can be fixed in Figma comments, in Notion comments, even with Loom. I think it's just underrated tool because you can explain a lot in this way and another person can look at that whenever they're ready and just put a higher speed if you speak slowly like me, and I think I need to do that faster. Of course, a lot of people just want to hop on a quick call, but 5-minute call is usually 15 or 20 minutes. 15 minutes is usually like half an hour, and it's more difficult to stop the person during the process and set those boundaries when you already started than do that before. It will actually like avoid a lot of conflicts as well, especially when you need to give feedback, then it will make you think about what you write, about what you say, instead of sharing reactive response. Tip number 4, you can rotate your times and make them friendly for everyone. For example, week by week. This week you can work like 1 hour later and talk to your American clients, for example. Next week you will work 1 hour earlier and you can talk to your Asian client. This way it will be pretty fair to everyone and you can group work with different clients by different week, and in meantime between those calls you can do async communication and it should work. Tip number 5 is automation. The most difficult part is to schedule the call and found the overlap in time. Yes, and if for yourself you can do it with time converters, then for other people it can be pretty difficult, right? So just use automated tools for call scheduling. It can be Calendly, that can be Google Calendar, that can be Notion Calendar. Also, it can be some Slack integrations if you use Slack. With Calendly, you can set time when you're available, override dates, and other person will see hours in their time zone. Same for Google Calendar, you just make the slots when you can have meetings and when other people can schedule the meetings with you. In the same way it works with Notion. It's very useful, and you can just share this link with your other clients, with your other team members, and just give them freedom to book a call with you whenever they want. Tip number 6, boundaries. Just feel free to say no. If you talk to your clients that you are gonna have one meeting, just don't allow, even if it is your dream client, they will respect you much more if you set your boundaries and if you care about your well-being, about well-being of your team, and actually follow the rules which you set by yourself. If it's something what can be postponed till that meeting, or you can resolve async, do that. Just write a polite message, cover that issue nicely, but stick to the boundaries you set. I will write for you a few examples of messages you can send. And finally, last trick, plan your time agnostic tasks. So if there is something what doesn't depend on the certain time, feel free to do that in the not overlapping hours with your clients or team members. For example, you need to write long content or do some postponed tasks which you haven't done in a while. Also, you can focus on the strategy, if you need to think. Yes, because we also need time to think on our projects and our tasks. You can learn something new, or it can be something more abstract, like planning next week or next month tasks, or preparing some rituals which help you focus on something more important. It can be different things. You will be just surprised how much you can do while everyone else is asleep. So these are all of my tips for now. I would say that it would be much easier for me if I knew those hacks in the very beginning of my work on remote, changing the time zone and starting to work at 4 p.m. Created the situation where I had to start managing that in better way. It truly gave me even a lot of freedom, because I can wake up in the morning, do yoga, go to swim, and go for a walk, go to the doctor, go to a manicure or something, and then I can have my lunch, and then spend some time for myself, prepare and focus for work. I still have energy, and then I just start working and doing my active and more resource needed tasks. And after that, I can just check on the others. Then I can have some Zoom calls and so on. In the end of the day, go to sleep and go rest. It's really nice if you have this opportunity, because you can manage your time more freely. You won't depend so much on the 9 to 5. When I made that shift, schedule stopped feeling for me like a nightmare, and managing time zones shouldn't be like nightmare. I hope you will take some of these tips and implement, and they will be really helpful for you. And in meantime, I will go preparing for my next videos and practicing more, because I know that this one wasn't perfect and nothing will be perfect. But yeah, thank you if you watch this till the end, even if you are just one person. Millennial heart. See you in next videos. I would really appreciate if you share your comment, maybe share your hacks about working remotely, or ideas for next videos which can be helpful for you from me as creative project manager. Let's see what we got here.